You're listening to the M.A.V show, episode number 8, short or long. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the M.A.V show.
We're back again, people.
Back again with it, where we talk about manga, anime, and video games.
Yeah.
I'm your host, King Von Ted, K.V for short.
I'm your co-host, Little Brother. Hello. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you, guys. We always appreciate the love that you guys give. All right. So, Little Brother, how is your week?
Pretty good. Yeah, nothing too major going on this week. Nothing too bad. Going through work, going through everything, just same old.
Same old, cool.
How about you?
So first start off, Friday, started to have a little barbecue at work, which was actually low-key legit.
I think I saw that on your snap.
Yeah, like that was really, really fun. Brought drinks, barbecue, boss grilled to the job. Like, it was really fun. Like,
Yo, KV's boss, from the sound of it, he's pretty cool. Like, dude does a lot for them, and I don't know, man. No offense to my boss, but sorry, Ivy, you ain't cooking barbecues all day like that.
I know, like, unless our boss will take us to, like, bars or like to Dave and Buster's and like little cool things, like, to really build the team. And like, I got like a lot of love and respect for my boss. I would go above and beyond for this guy. Like, he really takes care of his guys.
See, and you don't hear that like pretty much at all from somebody. Maybe the rare few, but you don't hear everybody saying that they basically take a bullet for their boss.
Oh yeah, I definitely would. I mean, it depends. Like a real bullet, probably not. Like, hold on. Like, I heard getting gun.
He said, "Is it rubber? Is it rubber or is it metal?
Yeah,
is it a beanbag, or is it the stuff that they use to kill other people with? Because that might hurt more."
Yeah, I heard getting shot hurts, so I try to avoid things like that.
Said, I don't think that's a pastime that I want to partake in.
Yeah, I love them. I'm like, but bro, you have to take this one for yourself. Like, this is not a team. This is not a team effort. This is not something you should ask somebody to do for you. You gotta take this one on yourself.
So we were talking about it just a second ago. Your younger siblings, they watched a YouTube video, the YouTubers known as RDC World 1, and a certain subject was talked about. I think it was who the best fights in anime.
Yeah, and so first shout out to the guys. Like, I love what they do and all the stuff they do. Like, I love Anime House. Like, that's like some of my favorite stuff from the guys.
You watched Anime House?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I thought you said that you didn't like Anime House.
No, I love Anime House. Like, some of the stuff, man, but like, I love Anime House. Like, I always make sure, like, some, like, it's more like 80-20 with them.
Okay.
It's hard to like a full album of somebody's. You like usually like 7 out of 10 songs or 8 out of 10 songs.
Okay.
So that's how I am for him. But yeah, I got mostly love for the guys. They were going over top battles, and maybe they're just doing some of
personal preference.
Yeah, personal preference or personal opinions type of things. One of the guys has said the fight between Gaara and Rock Lee, and I was like, what did you just say?
Which, and a lot of people would say that fight though.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily consider it like a top battle, even from memory.
Yeah, I would agree with KV
like,
on that one.
I'm like, so I'll give the battle respect. It's the first time you really seen, if any, like, it's one of Rock Lee's top moments ever in the series. Like, out of 5 times, not including fillers. Like, this is one time, like, you ever see him really go off. But
I'm not gonna lie, me personally, my favorite probably Rock Lee moment was when he fought the Bone Dude. It was instead of
when he was drinking and like he was tipsy / drunk / passed out.
And then he was putting up a good fight, but he was about to lose, and long behold, Gaara is the one who saves him.
Did he come out and save him?
Yeah, that was when they were trying to get Sasuke back.
Oh yeah, I forgot they had to send some of the Sand Village's ninjas in there for backup.
It was the puppet dude saved, I think, Neji. I might have that wrong. The girl Tamari saved Shikamaru, and Gaara saved Rock Lee.
But there was one more. Remember the dog dude?
Dog dude.
Kiba. Who saved Kiba?
Oh, it was the puppet dude saved Kiba. Tamari saved Shikamaru, and Gara saved Rock Lee. That's who it was.
I'm about to say it's kind of funny, real quick. Even with that fight, they found that out when Rock Lee just happened to be drinking a little bit. They was like, yeah, even Guy Sensei had a problem like holding him down without trying to hurt him. It was like, yeah, they was like, really? They was like, yeah, like he definitely had a problem with him. Like he was.
But to roll it back, nothing against the Rock Lee fight, but it's not considered to be at least our top 10.
Yeah, like I'm not just nitpicking, but I was just trying to break down the fight. I was like, okay, guys, like, and crazy part is they were almost gonna agree with it. I'm like, well, first off, you guys don't really know too much anime. Like I had to really put them on because
your siblings, right?
Yeah, my siblings, my little brother and sister, they're twins, and I had to really put them on. Like first off, you guys got to really have a good animation foundation. You guys see where anime came from. So between like the 80s and 90s, I had to name them like when anime first hit America. Like when Toonami came on for us when we were kids. I'm like, yo, like y'all need to go back and watch Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop, Big O.
I was gonna say
Yu Yu Hakusho.
I was gonna say, show him that final fight between Spike and one dude that he fought at the end.
Exactly.
Like that not only shows you like where anime first came from, that shows you could have a top fight without powers, without jutsus, without whatever spells or anything. That fight itself is so choreographed so perfectly, in the animation of it and just the the atmosphere, everything about that was just on point.
On point. And like I said, like you guys have to see where it was and then kind of come towards like Dragon Ball Z, and then like I feel like kind of like the kiddie kind of stuff kind of came in, like DBZ, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon type of stuff came in, Digimon, Beyblade, like those kind of ones kind of came in and made the big things. Those stuff will be another topic later. And then like I said, then you have your big three, which was the Bleach, Naruto, and
One Piece.
Because I would say I want to throw in Fairy Tail in there for the big four. I don't care how many people do not like the anime. Fairy Tail was definitely a long runner with them, and for some reason I can't find somebody else who said they love it, but I know there's people out there. It wasn't just going on for no reason.
It's not just me, dang it.
It wasn't just me. It's not me. But, like I said, and then for that, and then like you said, that's where you see a lot of similarities, or like I said, because there's so many memes and stuff out there that you see about all these past animes. I'm like, and they were like, well, we don't really get it. I'm like, it's because you never seen it.
Right.
Like, you've never seen all these animes, like, and it's cool. And
what is it called? Sow your roots or something like that? Is that how the expression goes?
Maybe so.
The expression I'm trying to get at is like, go back to the past or see where it started and then talk about the new stuff. How about that?
Yeah. So very much. And then that kind of leads me into the topic of the day.
Which is?
Which one do you prefer? Short or long animes?
Me personally, probably longer ones.
I would say longer ones too. And we're going to kind of set off with a description of shorter animes are 50 episodes and less, which probably maybe would equal out to 2 to 3 seasons, between 15 20 episodes each, depending on the season. And then for most longer animes, you would have 50 episodes more with 4 or 5 seasons, once again with 12 to 22 or 25 episodes a piece.
All right.
And so, and like I said, we're going to definitely get into the pros and cons, because I was also trying to get into them, because once again, my little sister, she's barely getting into One Piece, and she's barely like halfway. So, unfortunately,
you still got a lot to go, little one.
Yeah,
young Padawan.
And I'm all like, she's barely on episode like 412. I'm like, you're not even halfway. I'm all like, and unfortunately, my siblings aren't really using this time to be productive. They're just binge watching crap tons of anime. I'm not saying we're not as well.
Which you could spend your time doing worse things.
Yeah. And I'm all like, well, I mean, it's cool that you're binging One Piece, and I'm all like, but I feel like you're wasting time. I feel like that's just something you could always just come to every week and maybe knock out like an episode like or two a day. like maybe 3 to 5, because I'm like, yo, if you watch it for 12 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day, the most you could probably hit is between 30 and 36 episodes,
Yeah.
which is quite a bit. But I'm like, unless you're doing that every day for really about a month or two, even to get to like freaking 400, I'm like, you're really putting in the time. But I'm like, but you're already burned out.
I was gonna say, it was weird because while you were gone for a while, like you know how we didn't see each other for like years or so. I forgot how many. Was that 4 years?
Yeah.
So that time span, I was working at Amazon. I had nothing. That was like my second or third job at the time. I had nothing else to do. I rewatched One Piece to where it was currently, which was all the way from the beginning to Fishman Island.
Dude, oh my god.
And I literally spent, I think it was I spent a whole day just watching it episode back to back from morning to night. I don't know why I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it, and I got through the whole thing from the beginning to Fishman Island, and the span of I want to say a half of a month.
Oh my gosh. And
So about 2 weeks, yeah.
I remember doing it one time back in high school, which is almost like 10, 15 years ago now. When I did it, it was from the beginning to about a little bit after Skypiea, if I'm correct.
I think Skypiea was an underrated arc.
I feel like it really didn't hold too much substance. Like, I didn't really.
That's fair.
I'm like, what was the point of them going there again? I mean, they learned a few things, but I didn't feel like it didn't really contribute towards them in any way.
I think it was they learned something about Skypiea and wanted to explore it. And, you know, like, just curiosity got the best of them, and they eventually got there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, if anything, like, they lost all the dang gold that they got from there.
They really did.
I'm like, I don't like, I could be wrong. They might have not lost it, but I don't remember them doing anything with it. I don't remember them doing anything with any of the treasures that they probably collected a few times.
Pretty much any treasure that they get, Nami takes, not only for herself, but she like kind of like, you know, all right, this is what we're going to spend it on. This is how we're going to spend it. Here's your portion and here's mine. And like, she'd always have the bigger portion. Like, really?
Like,
really?
Wait, so who's counting the money again? And, you know, just to say, I was just trying to let them know, you know, you guys got to get into, don't just binge watch one, because I'd be like, you're definitely going to waste your time. You got to spread it out between a lot of shorter ones, because you can get through some shorter ones in 2 to 3 days versus spending all your time on one.
Yep, sir. Yes, sir. I guess an example of a shorter one, that you want to just go ahead and dive right into it right now?
Yeah, so we can start with the pros and cons of it.
So I'll start with a short pro. A short pro for me would be something like Samurai 7.
Okay. Yeah, that was definitely a good. Oh yeah.
So how I mean by that, Samurai 7 didn't even have a second season. It just had the one, and I think it was about 12 to maybe 20 episodes.
Yeah, probably, you know, a little bit towards there. I can look that up real quick.
And it was, if you don't know about Samurai 7, it kind of like follows that legendary story of this. I'm not so sure, so don't quote me on this, but I believe it was old, and back in, you know, feudal Japan, like actual Japan, they had these 7 samurai who were just like known throughout the lands, or that, and this and the other. They had 2 seasons?
No, 1 season, 26 episodes.
26 episodes. Sorry about that. And you know, the story of the Samurai 7 had so many spin-offs. Even you remember the Magnificent 7, the movie with Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, another few famous actors that I forgot, but it was set in the old Wild West.
Magnificent 7. Was that what it was called? Or was it like Terrible 7 or something else?
No, it was you're thinking of the Hateful, no, not the Hateful Eight.
Yeah, no, that's called the Hateful Eight.
You're thinking of the Adam Sandler movie, the Ridiculous Six.
Nah, I didn't even watch that one.
Okay, but Magnificent 7 is I remember you watched it with me. Being is they took that story from that story of Samurai 7, and it was just about these 7 samurais who like went and just protected the land, and basically they were going to give their lives for the land, and I believe pretty much most of them died. I think 3 of them survived.
Yeah, and so even just like in Samurai 7, only 3 of them, like only a few survived, and it was really crazy. And what I also love about it, so just even in a short amount of time, they told a great story. They didn't go really oblique with it, try to create a vast type of story setting. They kind of kept it small, and they were like, hey, this one village has a problem with these people with like the current uh, shogun empire or whoever, and they gathered people to fight them. They had the battle, and it was the end. Like, people die, and I would have been upset a little bit if some people didn't die, because in war people die, and like, it ended.
That's gonna be a thing that's never gonna change, guys. It's if you have an anime and you're gonna bring some realism into it, and you have a war. I forgot, where do we see it in the movie? The dude had a war, and he's gonna like, dude, we're in a war. People are going to die. There's no war that no one dies. Like, it's just gonna happen.
I don't remember necessarily what movie, but a lot of people who say they like war or want war, I'm like, war. Like, you never really want war. You never really want to go to war, because you can't do, like, you're probably going into it thinking you're going to beat everybody, and you're not really thinking of the casualties, and there's always casualties.
Exactly.
But once again,
and that, don't take us wrong. Like, we're not hoping for like death or anything like that.
No, yeah. But like, we're just necessarily being realistic about it.
It's there's not been a single war where people haven't died in, and that relates back into Samurai 7. Even the main characters who we all personally love and gotten to know, and what they're fighting for is just and honorable. Guess what? They're on the chopping block too. They can die too. They're not some superhumans, and that's what. And by that, with this whole thing I'm trying to get at is, if you're one of those people who are saying like, well, they could have expanded it so much, they could have had them live until the next season, and then they fight the next shogun or the next emperor or whatever. Guess what? No, like, it just doesn't work like that all the time, especially if you're taking a real story as like Samurai 7.
Yeah. So to kind of even jump to the next one, I would say like another kind of good one that kind of follows that type of, not necessarily setting, but short, sweet, and kind of to the point, I would say would be Death Note.
Death Note was only one season?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Death Note doesn't really have no sequels, or none that I know about, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't have no seasons. I'm trying to find how many episodes, and I can't necessarily find them.
Death Note actually had like 37 episodes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that explains a lot. But with Death Note being a short anime, once again, it's under 50 episodes. It was really great, like, short and sweet and straight to the point. Like, once again, when you consider like a lot of short animes, they don't have an oblique world. Like, they don't have a super big world. They're usually based on like one town most of the time, and you're having like a small group of people going against like another group of people. It's not like they're trying to take on the world half the time or anything else like super crazy. And so I think this is like definitely a pro for short anime, saying how like it had such a great story and how great of an anime was, and it didn't need like 2, 3, like 4 or 5 or big seasons. Like I don't really even know how you could have really even expand this type of anime. Like, even if you kept Light alive at the end of the anime and didn't kill him.
Spoiler.
Like, you couldn't, like, there's not much else where he could have done. Like, if his goal was just to make the world good, and about time, even before he died, like, he got pretty close. So,
and that's a good example. Like, just because like you said, you don't know how you would expand it, because guess what? You don't need to expand it. Sometimes I feel like, and guess what, guys? Dragon Ball Z is going to get brought up in this one, too. Dragon Ball Z expanded way too long. And it's like, I felt like they saw that we could end it right here, but let's keep it going. As to where Death Note saw that, we got our episode, we got our story, we put it all into these 37 episodes, and we're done.
yeah.
And that's good. That's a pro.
That is. So, bullet point, short and sweet and straight to the point.
I want to, at least for me, I'm going to bring up one more. I will say for a pro for, a short anime would probably be Parasite.
Dude, okay.
Parasite, much like Death Note, Parasite was quick, straight, and to the point. It was only the one season. It had the main character, Jesus, what was his name? Shinichi? Shinichi. I think his name was Shinichi, and it had his parasite go into his body. Basically, it took over. It didn't really take over him. It took over his hand, and the main goal was for the Jeez, I'm kind of blank minded on here. sorry.
Keep going.
The main goal was for Shinichi and his partner Mario, something with an M.
Yeah.
But they just Shichiro wanted to just be done with the parasite.
Migi. Yeah.
Migi. Shichiro basically wanted to be done with the parasite. He wanted to be done with Migi. He wanted to be done with his world getting flipped upside down. Migi just wanted to be alive, pretty much. And the goal for the parasites all around the world, they wanted, world global domination. Because that's what they do. They're parasites. They take over.
Yeah.
But as you see it go on, you actually, it's weird. So you see a character development like no other, actually, to me. He went from very timid, very shy character who, tends to probably get bullied around in class, and he went to this parasite the parasite doesn't do too much to his body other than make his stamina go up, make his physical physique above average than the others.
I mean, that's technically a lot. Okay, like if you're making somebody physically stronger and giving them a lot better of endurance, that's a gap.
Okay, I'll say that he does that for him, but at least mental wise, mental wise, it was all up to Shinichiro for the most part. Shinichi, sorry, not Shiri. I don't know where I got Shinichiro from. Shinichi basically goes, like I said, from that shy, timid character to this dude who is doesn't take a crap from nobody. He goes from very dark, very cold personality, and he doesn't have time for nobody. Even this girl who he kind of had a love interest in, and it kind of goes from he really has a crush on her to yo, if I don't handle what I got going, I don't got time for you. I'm done with everything. And once again, spoiler warning, that you really saw that major change when a parasite took over his mom, because once a parasite takes over you, you're pretty much dead. So he knew his mom was dead, and he actually had to kill his mom's body. And I just say the body because that's all the parasite uses is the body. And that's kind of for me, it's the whole zombie thing. My worst fear is
zombies, because you don't like zombies because you can't, see yourself killing your family members. I respect that. And that's the same thing with the whole Chinese culture. That's the reason why they don't do zombies, because they have so much respect for their dead and their ancestors. They can't see them coming back and them having to kill them.
And so, that's basically what Shinichi had to go through, was he had to kill his mom, and he almost didn't do it. He almost died, in fact, because the parasite who took over almost killed him. But this whole thing that I'm getting at is that it had all this story. It had all these things that he personally had to go through, and character development was all in this one about 13 episode season. And basically,
so yeah, part 1 was between 1 and 12 episodes, and part 2 was 13 and 24.
Oh yeah, it was. Okay. But by the end of it, it wraps up, and it answers every question. And it actually has a little heartwarming part between the parasite Migi and the human Shinichi. They pretty much separated ways. They separated ways, basically.
Did they? Because I never finished it.
Yeah, Migi basically detaches himself from the body and basically dies.
Wow. Because Migi's whole thing was, he was like, okay, so since I can't take over the host's body, which was every parasite's main thing, he was like, okay, I'm only gonna focus on survival. So that's why he always did things for him, because he's like, I don't want to die.
Right.
But he's like, I'm not gonna let you kill yourself or kill me too. So I gotta protect the host.
Right.
But so I'm really surprised, he broke off and actually killed himself.
And that's what I mean by the heartwarming part. Migi's whole thing was survival. And by the end of it, he tells Shinichi, you don't need me anymore. You don't. I've seen you grow within the past time that we've been together. You go do this on your own. And he detaches himself, and then he dies. It's wow.
Whoa.
That's sad. I'm going to miss Migi. That's
crazy. You don't really see that a lot.
So, once again, to me, that's a good pro for a short pro.
Okay, I feel you. So let's get into cons a little bit. So con for the short anime would be No Game, No Life.
Talk about it.
Oh my gosh.
Talk
And
about
so
it.
first off, both me and my little brother have a lot of love for No Game, No Life. Like, I don't know why. Like, I feel like this is a strong, underrated anime.
Highly.
Like, and like the manga might get like a lot of love, but I feel like it should have a lot of it should have a lot more episodes, and it only has like 12 episodes in one movie. And so if you ever really want to watch
That's a very, very painful side that I just did.
I know.
There.
If you guys ever want to watch it, please go on Netflix, show it some love. But
And it looks like they also have some like specials to it too, like spinoffs, but that's not enough. That's not the main story that captured us to begin with.
yeah, and so like we would definitely, and I'm surprised I haven't went to the manga to read more about it, but it's probably because I've seen the anime first. And so to me, it's kind of hard going back and reading manga when you see the anime first of it.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
It got so far in the anime, and it was so
even in the
enjoyable.
first 12 episodes, it got pretty like you learn a lot about it even in the first 12 episodes. Like I figure like they can definitely wrap up this whole entire story in under 50 episodes.
They really, because it's unfortunately it's an isekai, and all of them, at least to me, all you have to do when you go into isekai is either become the new hero, do whatever you want to do, or in their case they had to play the game. They were playing the game. They became the kings.
So they basically, with most isekais, you're the hero and you're supposed to go kill the demon king.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do in most isekais. Or you're playing a video game, for some reason you got sent to another world, or you were reincarnated because you got killed or hit by a car or truck.
Or you went to another world with your smartphone. So stupid. So stupid.
Yeah, so these guys were in the category of playing a game, had beaten a god from a different world and got put into his. And so their main goal was to challenge God again. And for them to challenge God again, they have to beat like the 12 different races, and each race had a representation of a chess piece. And so even during this whole entire time, like they already almost like they gathered 1 or 2 chess pieces in this whole entire time.
I believe it was
12
2
episodes. Yeah, and like they were almost close to working on 3.
They were dueling or battling against the beast people.
Yeah, that was number 2. Because at first they had the humans, so once they like really learned about it, they got the humans ones, and then they went and got the beastmen ones, and then the elves were next on the list.
Yes, right, that's right.
And so, like, well, once again, like this anime definitely, like, it didn't play around too much. Like every single episode really kind of had a point. Like they went and learned about different things, or they went and learned about different races. Like there wasn't too much. Like even though there was a lot of playful moments, there wasn't a lot of like uselessness in it.
It was straight to the point. You knew what the story was going. There were no fillers.
I mean, it's 12 episodes.
I didn't see
it's 12 episodes,
but
so
still,
fillers.
I've seen stuff with fillers in it, and it's only being like 12 episodes. It's the most painfulest thing in my life. I swear it is. Like to see an anime and you're watching it and you're getting through it, and out of nowhere he's playing at a park to bond with his siblings or whatever. It's like that's just an example I'm throwing out there. That's not specifically aimed at something. I'm just saying you're watching it and then you get interrupted with something that doesn't even matter, and it's like, but can I get back to the story though? And for me personally, that's you taking time from it. That's why I always hate recaps. I hate recaps, especially in older animes. If you go through what we used to go through as kids, you have to wait week to week just to get an episode, just to watch the newest, or stay updated with it. You only have 30 minutes in an episode, and they would spend like 3 minutes of that with a recap.
More than 3 minutes, like 5 to 7 minutes, really.
Not including all these commercials, and then you only get that little chunk of the episode, and then you have to wait a whole another 7 days just to get another episode. That's why, to me personally, I hate like just when you're not utilizing all the resources you have and you're just putting fillers in there. I know this is just me personally, just venting. I understand that fillers are there because either A, they need to express their art style, or B, to catch up with the manga or so.
I mean, yeah, because once again, like you don't want to have to go through the whole Game of Thrones type of thing where like the show had caught up to with the books, but people still wanted more shows, or like they wanted the shows kind of finish out, but the author haven't written a book, so like the show had came up with its own different type of ending from the book, and like a lot of people didn't like the show's ending.
That's for all you Game of Thrones fans. If you hate how it ended, now you know why.
Yeah, and so what a lot of people understand, like, and I had to understand personally too, because I was never a fan of fillers myself, was that like fillers are there to, because like remember, like if you're trying to make an anime from like from a book, like watching it is a lot quicker than reading it. Especially when a book can give you 2, 3 details describing the environment or like the room versus you're just looking at it, like you're taking like less than a minute just to look at it. And so that's why, like, when the anime catches up with the manga, filler episodes kind of come in. You wait a little bit, let the manga run for a little bit, and then the anime starts up right back where the manga left off.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. All right, but that's no game, no life. Another con for me would probably be Drifters.
Why Drifters?
So remember how, and I remember you personally loved Drifters because it had the whole strategy and war aspect to it.
Most definitely.
And it only had the one season. It only had about the 11 episodes, and that drives me crazy. It literally drives me crazy because it was a very good anime, and I believe it was the same creators who made Hellsing, and we all know Hellsing is with the Alucard and all that, and how good that was.
It really was good.
And I'm only gonna guess on that one because I can't confirm if they were the same creators or not, but Drifters in itself to me should have gone at least for 2 seasons. I felt like they could have gotten 2 seasons out of it if they would have worked with the one but given it more episodes. I would have been satisfied. But it just had so much going for it.
It really did. So
from Nobunaga, was it Nobunaga?
Yeah. That name was like Nobunaga or something.
Yeah. It was just so frustrating to just see it not go all the way through. They had the main guy who came from a certain time. All 3 of the main characters were different time periods in Japan. One being like the youngest one of the 3. He's like some like up and coming top tier general. One of them was like the best archer.
Which one?
The young guy who dressed in all blue. He was like the best archer in the land, and like his style was known throughout the all of Japan. And then the last guy was the oldest of the 3, and he's just gone through battles, toppling empires and after empire.
It's bad that we don't really remember most of these characters' names. But once you have like only 12 episodes and you don't really have too much more of that.
This is the point we're getting at.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of anime sometimes when you only hit 12 episodes, and we can also understand, if you like the studio doesn't have enough money to really hit for a second season, or it doesn't receive enough fanfare or things like that. Like, we understand, but it does suck.
So one of the it looked up. So I think that confirmed my suspicion. I kind of looked up the characters for it, but Alucard's the first one that pops up. And I'm like, that's not the same anime.
It seemed like they announced the second season for Drifters, but not everybody, it just probably never came out, or like it's just unknown.
So the first main character is, and guys, once again, I'm not Japanese. I can't pronounce these names like just fluently. First character is Shimazu Toshia. Does that sound any type of Japanese to you? Toshia Shimazu.
Just try your best.
That's all I can do, y'all. That's all I can do. And he was the main character that was dressed in the red. He's the like young up and coming general that I was telling you about. He was very, what's the word I'm looking for? He was very captivating as a character. Is that the?
I mean, like, he really had like a great...
He drew you in.
Yeah, like he had a great essence, like a great presence a little bit. And like I said, everybody kind of loves that one character that dives right into battle
because he took charge. He wasn't scared.
Charge.
He wasn't scared to say, "All right, if the way that things are going right now is not working, I'm gonna tell you guys how to do it, and you're gonna follow my lead, and I promise you, we will be successful."
Yeah. I feel like really going back and watching that now, but
without
a second season, like
it's hard. It's hard. The another character, the archer one I was talking about, his name is Yoichi. I'm pretty sure I got that one. Pretty sure I nailed it. Yeah. Nasu Sukataka Yoichi. Let's just go with Yoichi.
Natsu no Yoichi.
And he got a lot of flack because he looks like a chick.
He did look like a chick.
And he's older than what he seems as well.
Hey, for some reason, most girls do like guys who look like pretty boys. Beyond me why.
And then Joan of Arc, she was in there as well. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. That's what. Okay, so let's get back into the type of premise of the anime. It was about these basically war generals, or like great warriors throughout time, being sent to this one plane of existence, and you could call it the in-between of hell and heaven, I guess, purgatory, but not really, because like I said, it's its own world. Mm-hmm. And Shoichi, was that his name? Shoichi, him being the young general at this time from a certain time period in Japan, gets flung into this in between, and basically there's no rules to it. There's none this or that, the other, you have to go conquer this or do that. They're just thrown into this world without knowing anything. He ends up running into these other Yoichi and dang it, can we get his name? But he ends up running into these other two warriors from Japan, and they don't really agree with each other. They all think that they're the better general of their time, which is fair. Like, no, I did it better, dude. What are you talking about?
Of course, I took a pawn. It's hard to bow down to somebody else. It's like, you know what? You actually was better. So and so and so and so. Like, nah, man. Like, I was the greatest.
Right. So, but they end up kind of just working together. Because they know, like, let's not let's not be divided when we're all pretty top tier. And it's kind of set in a world of like elves, dwarves, mythical creatures and all such.
Yeah, just your normal ones, just ones you see in every single one that everybody loves using over and over again.
They're basically doing what they do best. They're conquerors. They take some of these elves, they turn them into warriors, and they storm whatever next kingdom that they see. I believe it was a bunch of Germans that they went at.
Once again, I can't really remember.
Right,
it's been a while.
This is why we needed more from the anime, because we felt like there could have been so much more. Because they did also hint at that Hitler was there at one point in time.
So it was basically like the good guys versus bad guys of certain time periods.
One of the bigger names was probably Joan of Arc. She was in there, and Yoichi kind of had a problem fighting her. Not in the sense that she was tough, but more like, you're a girl, I don't want to deal with you. You're not a fighter, you're not a warrior. Which, to now, that is very terrible saying. But if you think about it, in his time, the women, they stayed in kitchens. They didn't do battle. They weren't the war heroes.
War.
Yeah. So for him to fight another woman is just like, no, what are you talking about? Why would I fight a woman?
But
Oda was his name. Oda, no, Jesus, Nobunaga.
Yeah.
Oda Nobunaga.
Oh, okay. And so, any more on this one?
That's just Drifter, guys. That's my con about it. And sorry that one really got drawn out and just choppy in the sense. But that just from the synopsis of it, there could have been so much more. How many great warriors do you know that you could have probably put in there? Julius Caesar. I had another one in my mind that I forgot. Genghis Khan. Attila the Hun. All these different like big time names throughout history you could have just thrown in there. And you could have gone anywhere with it. All these different warriors fighting in this one plane of existence.
Yeah, like I said, this is just the other short things about short animes that we is a big con about them. They just leave so much on the table. They leave so much meat on the bone, and we feel like, yo, we're missing a big part of the story. And once again, like in my personal thing, it's hard watching the TV show and then trying to go back and read the books.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, do you mind if I take over for real quick?
Go ahead.
So, if we're gonna go with me again, we're talking about the pros for short ones. We're talking about the cons for short ones, and this one's gonna be a little bit harder. I want to talk about the pros for having a long drawn out anime. I want to say, uh, Dragon Ball Z. If you think,
wow, okay, like I totally agree with you. I felt like you were gonna probably fight me on this one.
okay, so at least look at it this way. It's good that it was drawn out, not in the sense that where it is right now, but it went from Goku as a child. So you saw where his origin story is. You saw where he started.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes from this kid who has to fight battle after battle, conquering enemy after enemy, and just living his life. And he turns into.
So Dragon Ball Z had a good story that you see Goku as a kid. Like he had like a lot of character development. He met different characters
in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, in Dragon Ball. Like you really see him progress.
There you go. And then he turns into what he is now, which still Goku, but he ends up having children, or a child at the time, and he's fought all these different enemies, had to make friends with said enemies, and it's a whole new story.
Very much so. And this is actually more of a pro for like a lot of different animes. And I'm just gonna say that this is something that we've seen in Naruto. This is something that we've seen in One Piece. Of characters,
even
long
Bleach.
Ones. Well, not really. Even though Bleach was pretty long.
So I say Bleach was long. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, like even though it was long, we didn't see Ichigo kind of go from, like teenager to more of an adult part.
That's true. But go ahead, continue what you were going to say.
Yeah, and so I feel like this is a pro because you see, it's almost like you grow up with the character. Yeah, like I said, this is definitely a big plus for long animes when you see them as kids and you see the great story development that they go through, and then like maybe a season or two or like a year later, you see like them go through like a 2-year, 3-year change, or like with Goku, like 18 years later,
seriously,
or like 25 years later.
He went from child, toddler to full grown adult.
How old is Goku?
You know what? That's never really said, and I think we talked about that in a previous episode. Just like a quick little, just a little drive over it. That I don't really know how old he is. I don't know.
In Dragon Ball, I'm saying he is 14. He's either 12 or 14 in Dragon Ball.
That's 12
or something like that.
He looked like he was 6. Yeah, he doesn't look like a preteen in Dragon Ball. He looks like a toddler in Dragon Ball, and when he got older in Dragon Ball, he looks like a teenager, but he looks like a young adult. He looks like 18 something
in Dragon Ball
after he gets older.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then in Dragon Ball Z, by then he should be well over into his 40s or something.
So, I mean, I'm just kind of looking around, and certain places are saying, like, he's 37 while Vegeta is 42. Jesus. At the end of, like, the Buu saga somewhere. I'm all like, I mean, yeah, because by then he has, like, a kid or two. He already has Gohan. Mm-hmm. And from there he has Goten. Goten. So around this time he has Goten as well. And so from there, like I said, this is a big plus with you see the character have kids. That is a big mind-blowing thing because in your own personal life, like after like a good couple of years of animes running, you might be having kids your own. I remember watching Naruto before or like right at the start of like kind of high school years, like a little bit before high school years. Mm-hmm. And then like it went all the way past it, like by the time like Naruto ended and he finally became the Hokage and had kids, like bro, like I don't have kids, but I could have seen myself having kids too.
Yeah.
I could have started having kids. And I'm like, yo, like, I've seen my character go through his struggles and everything else. I'm like, yo, like, and like I said, that is where you feel the strongest connection with your character. Personally, this is where I would see the like your strongest connection.
You've seen your character at his lowest, being, you know, when he was at a kid and whatever trials and tribulations he had to go through at that time. And then, I'll give an example for Naruto, when he was dealing with, you know, everybody rejecting him and that one teacher lying to him about stealing the scroll, and he saw Iruka Sensei almost dying in front of him. That was probably Naruto's, okay, I won't say that was probably his lowest, but that was pretty low for him in the early stage.
Yeah, like in Naruto's case, like you see how just as a kid he started off with everybody hating him, just like little brother said, and he had to grow to become well loved,
the protector of an entire village, pretty
yeah.
much an entire nation at that point.
Yeah,
He's looked at as is he looked at as the best Hokage?
I'm not sure the best Hokage, because if you got to put Naruto versus any of the other Kages, I don't think he'd win against his dad.
Really?
His dad is a tactician. The third Hokage knows forbidden jutsu. And then from there you have the second and first. These dudes lift a finger, and these guys, and like I said, these guys are the top of the top. These guys were during that time. This is the second Hokage was literally the first Hokage's little brother.
You know what? I never heard that argument being put up. Who's the best Hokage? So let's get that going in the comments section. Who's the best Hokage? Is it Hiroshima? I forgot the second Hokage's name. I forgot the third Hokage's name. Is it Minato? Is it Naruto?
Well, the first one is Hiroshima. The second one, I never really learned his name. The third one is I forgot his name as well.
Grandpa. Let's just
Grandpa,
go.
yeah, Grandpa. Fourth one is Naruto's dad and
Minato.
And well, technically, you also forget somebody else.
No,
Kakashi. No, Tsunade too.
Tsunade first,
Tsunade,
after the third,
then Kakashi.
and then Kakashi. And then, what was it, Tsunade? Wasn't it Tsunade again? Because Kakashi didn't want it, right?
Yeah, he didn't really want it. Like, he was kind of like an acting standing-in member for a while. So, I mean, that's how he kind of got it. And then, like, Naruto became...
Senju was the second Hokage. Senju Tobari? Guys, I'm not Japanese. Senju Tobarima. That's as close as I'm going to get with that one.
Once again, just try your best. We're okay with that. And then from there, guys, to also say... I would say, to also say, there's not too many really great cons for long animes, other than, you know, I would say like just kind of one more before I would jump heavy into the cons. A pro for another one would be is just, you know, always having something to come back to, the longevity of it, to watch something over the years, you know, and for it to be also slight separate from growing with the anime. You would also, like I said, it's something to always watch, and most of the time you get consistency, you get new material, you get a lot of things where, like, you really get to explore that anime's world. So on One Piece, like, you get to really explore all the other pirate crews. Like, you know, you get their backgrounds, you get like that really big, great adventure.
All these different places that they go sail to. They went from the East Blue, going off to the Grand Line, going into the New World. Like, all these different places that you get to see and just experience. That's what these long animes do for you. They have enough time to draw them out, to give the certain location its backstory, and, you know, it just goes everywhere from there.
It does. Like I said, that's where you definitely got to have the love for that part. And then kind of jump into the con side of it. Man, I would say the con part would...
SAO.
Oh my gosh. I didn't want
SAO.
I didn't want to have to go here.
Yo, we're going there because... Look, okay.
So let's it will always be my favorite.
The first part of Sword Art Online is his favorite. Up to episode... what is that, 12? Because it was like 25 episodes.
Yeah.
So episode 12, and, you know, from 1 to 12, perfect. That anime was almost perfect. It was pretty decent. Everything going on from Alpine Online to Gun Gale Online to whatever it is right now, it is terrible. This is the cons to having a long anime and why you shouldn't do it.
So I would say for this, like, this is the bad part of consistency, like where there is no consistency. This is also the bad part of new material, where you're trying to fix the wheel that's not necessarily broken, and also, like you're also trying to do too many other different things. Like this series didn't really need to go on as long. I just felt like they could have really expanded the whole 100 floors. Like they could have did at least 6 episodes per floor. Maybe some running around, and then maybe a good episode or two of a boss fight. Simple things like that, because it takes a minute for them to even find a boss room, or like of them going back and forth between floors or something, of them buying houses, or just different types of stuff. But for them to really climb so many floors in just 12 episodes, like that was really a big, like, dang type of thing.
So I'm just looking at the long list of different Sword Art Onlines, and I can only assume that they all have like 2-parters like the first season did. No, they don't. But it's just there's Sword Art Online, there's Sword Art Online 2, there's Sword Art Online 3, Sword Art Online third season, Sword Art Online or what is that? Ordinal Scale?
That's a movie.
That's a movie. Extra edition. Sword Art Online offline. What is Sword Art Online offline?
And so with a lot of these, once again, when you get off a track, or when you lose
sight of your original goal.
Yeah, when you lose sight of your original goal, or what the anime is really supposed to be about, this is where you get. I don't want to say Alpine, because to me Alpine wasn't bad, but this is where you get your Gun Gale art.
They have Sword Art Online alternative Gun Gale. What is that?
Yeah, and so he's definitely upset about that. But once again, like Gun Gale, I just felt like you guys didn't need it. Like it was totally unnecessary.
Have an alternative version of it.
Even an alternative version.
What is this? This looks like a whole nother. It's Sword Art Online second season, but it looks like Saber from Fate Stay. It looks like they threw Saber into this anime and had her as a guest star.
Do you have like a personal vendetta?
Yes.
What? What's your personal vendetta?
It did bad. It kept going. It threw something so freaking awesome and so just cool, and just said, let's put fairies in there. Why? Let's put guns in there. Why? Let's put a lightsaber in there. Why?
And expected a person with a lightsaber to beat everybody in there with a gun.
It's not always gonna be Star Wars.
I mean, that was kind of funny.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was cool when he was blocking bullets with a lightsaber, but still,
yeah. I'm all like, it's a game, but
they had to make an excuse for him to use a sword in a gun-based game.
Yeah,
and it was dumb. I'm so enraged by this.
Like it was kind of hard.
But to keep the ball rolling, why it's also bad to keep a long anime, I would say, and we haven't talked about video games yet, so in that aspect, Demon Souls or Dark Souls for, the big fans or whatever, that going on for, what has it got, 3 games now? Or 3 different types of games?
So it first started with Demon Souls, that kind of started it, and then you had Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and then you also kind of had, I kind of want to say spin-offs, of like Bloodborne and the one game where it says like Shadows Die Twice.
Sekiro.
Yeah, Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. All these games circle around, like not necessarily big storylines. I think Shadows Die Twice had like a good storyline or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But all these other games, even with Bloodborne, had like a 20% story, 80% just throws you in there and you're just supposed to kind of figure out what you're supposed to do. So I wouldn't say this is a con, but cause a lot of people love these games.
That's true. It's just, how far are you going to take this? How far are you going to ride this horse? Like, and what can you do with it? Sekiro was probably a good spinoff of it, like you said. Bloodborne and Sekiro are probably just like 2 different versions of it. And to me, Bloodborne is just like a horror version of it. Dark Souls and Demon Souls in itself is already gory and stuff. But Bloodborne was just like, nah, let's add another 3,000 gallons of blood in there and just see how.
It was really weird, and yeah, like you gotta have a type of different mindset
and
for that.
The creatures, like, if you've seen Demon Souls or Dark Souls creatures, they're pretty messed up and creepy to look at, but Bloodborne creatures, it was just like disturbing and uneasy, for lack of a better term.
Not for everybody. That's why it wasn't really for
And
everybody.
then Sekiro, just make it Japanese, pretty much. Make it with a Japanese style, which is cool. It's cool. It's still Dark Souls though. That's what we're getting at. It's still kind of the same thing. And
It had a lot of still like certain core elements is what we're probably getting at, and from there we're like I said, I couldn't necessarily really put this almost in the con section, more even maybe neutral of like it, like you're trying to say, you know what, like they didn't lose sight of what they wanted to do. They kept on giving gamers that hard to play, like it's gonna take you a few tries to get past this level difficulty type of game.
and actually, I kind of just noticed something. Do you remember that game Code Vein that I was showing you before?
No, not really.
It was like a demo of it that I showed you. I'll show you later. But if you guys know about Code Vein, apparently that's compared as and I heard somebody tell me this. It's basically the anime version of Dark Souls. Which, when me playing the demo of it, I kind of agree. You can buy it on the PlayStation 4 store right now for like $30 or so.
Oh wait, the one you showed me that you were playing?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's basically like that. And I agree, at least through playing it, I thought it was going to have a storyline to it. I mean, of course it has a storyline to it, but like I thought it was going to be like one straightforward campaign type of situation. And it turns out like it's like Dark Souls. It's like you do what you do in Dark Souls. I don't want to get into like how to play it and all that because everybody knows how to play it.
Yeah, and so from there, I think a series that kind of runs on to kind of put it in a concert race that definitely lost sight of what it was supposed to be about and was trying to put things out for a cash grab. The Assassin's Creed series.
Ugh.
So
It's on Vikings now. I talked about this like 2 weeks ago. It's on Vikings now.
and I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited for it. Like it looks low-key dope.
They're not assassins.
I agree on that part. But just to kind of play in a game where like there's Vikings, I'm all for it. But once again, this is definitely in a con spot where they lost the sight of the original goal. Like Assassins 1, 2, and 3 were definitely about Desmond, and now they're just trying to set up in different. They're just trying to set up assassins in different eras of eras in the past, and
Right.
try to really say something and not really saying much.
Right. They did it where it was like I think when it started with Altair, it was in the Middle East, I believe. And then it went with Ezio in Italy, and then Connor was in it with Native Americans back in America.
Yes,
So,
and but what's crazy part is Altair, the first guy,
mhm.
um, those were all kind of part of 1, 2, and 3. Even Ezio,
Yeah.
Connor was
So-
Connor part of 3?
Yeah, those all followed like the main storyline. They had
Oh, yes, they
Desmond
did. I'm
Miles.
sorry, yeah.
It was all focused on him. And me personally, my favorite is Assassin's Creed 4, but Assassin's Creed 4 had pretty much next to nothing to do with Desmond Miles or anything about it. It was just kind of like its own separate one. That one is about pirates. And you as the main character, because you're inside the Animus, or was it called the Animus?
Yes.
You're inside the Animus, and then when you outside of it, you don't see yourself character. You don't see yourself as to where when you played as Desmond Miles, you're in the third person. You know who you were playing, and this one, you're first person. You don't see yourself. All you just know is you work for the company. What is it called? What is their big company called? Ooh. You work for that big company that works for the Templars and such, and you're just working for them. You don't know nothing. You just know that they're working with this project. You go into an animus because you are one of the representatives. Okay, we'll send you into this person's past, and you'll see what they see, what their ancestors saw, and you're getting information, and you're going to give that information to whoever your boss is.
So the real quick, sorry to interrupt. The company was Abstergo Industries.
Abstergo, that's what it was called.
Abstergo Industries.
Abstergo was basically, I guess, their version of Illuminati. They're taking all this information and
Agreed.
using it for their own personal benefit.
Because remember, they was only trying to collect the ancient relics, like the was it
the
Eve's
apple,
apple?
yeah, the apple of Eden.
And like the staff or something as well.
Yeah, they were just trying to get all these rare artifacts that would basically benefit them in whatever shape, way, or form. And in the Assassin's Creed 4, you're basically finding out that they're looking for these items, and you notice that your ancestors were trying to keep them away for Abstergo, or not directly Abstergo, but from the Templars. And the Templars, you kind of like start seeing that Abstergo and Templars have a lot of similarities. So you as a character kind of get to a point where maybe I shouldn't be working for them, and maybe I should kind of sabotage them in whatever way I can.
Yeah. And so, once again, just to even drop back to it, like, this is really a cash grab game now. Like, this is where, like they're only really trying to keep going with it just because everybody's still kind of buying into it, and it's really not too much of the base storyline. Like, it's not really centered around its core element or where it really started from.
I'm trying to think. So it went Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yes.
No, Unity. It went Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, now Valhalla. Which, and they have like side games too, but I don't think anybody cared for the side games. But that's even proving my point more. Like, why did you even need side games?
Once again, for the money.
And at least if you're looking at it from our perspective, because that's all this is that we're talking about right now, is like, if you had a certain goal and you had the story that you wanted to go with, what are all these branched off projects, and why do you keep bringing it all the way to the story really ended after number 3?
I agree.
And to me, that was like, you didn't need to go anywhere, so why are we continuing it? Like I said, 4 is my favorite, but I would have been well and good and happy if it would have stopped at 3, which was the main character out of there was Connor. Like, that story ended perfectly. Desmond died, everything, he saved the world, and everything was just good after that.
And I mean, I hate to throw this series in here too because it's a personal favorite of me and my little brothers. The Final Fantasy series.
No.
He doesn't want to do it, so I'll do it by myself. Their problem is, well, don't get me wrong. I love how, like, what they do. They carry certain core elements, maybe certain monsters, certain NPCs, certain items, and certain magic to each and every new game. But part of that also problem is that, they come out with a new game every single new series. And you can almost kind of compare it and small parts of how the Assassin's Creed is doing it. Like, a lot of the stuff they're doing right now is kind of the same in some parts, but another thing is, like, they're almost kind of like, this is for
they
cash
have
grab.
too much. They're up to 15 episodes, or 15 different Final Fantasies, not including the side games, which is whether you're like playing it on mobile, whether you're playing it on the Game Boy, which it was on Game Boy for a little bit there.
Tactics and Tactics Advance, personal
whether
favorites.
You're playing on the PlayStation Vita, like all these different side branches and stuff. Even, it's just too much. Even the online Final Fantasy 14, like, I didn't even understand the point of that one.
Well, it was everybody loves online though.
Just to have an online version.
I mean, no, because like, remember, like, you want to kind of branch out to all different aspects of gaming. Like, you don't want to just create single player games, but after they kind of back and redid it, Final Fantasy 14, like, A Realm Reborn, came back and just killed it. Like, they really faked all the problems and everything, and like, now they get a clap on their back for it.
Even like, for me, it was the Final Fantasy 13. They had Final Fantasy 13, and then what was it? Final Fantasy 13.
So their sequels is where they really fell off from.
Right. They had Lightning's Return, and then what was it? Final Fantasy 13 2, and then Lightning's Return. So they had 2 spinoffs of themselves.
So 13 2, and then like 13 3.
And it's like, but do we really need it? Unfortunately, I did not play either of those spinoffs, but I kind of did want to play it.
2 was really not that great, and then 3 I did it. I really don't think a lot of Final Fantasies need sequels.
I'm not gonna lie.
They don't excel in sequels. Even with 10-2, if you remember.
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't like 10-2 that much.
Yeah, like, they don't excel in sequels. Like, put all your guys' time and energy into the project itself.
Something...
And if you can't fit everything in one game or disc, then you should think about taking it out.
I'm not gonna lie. In Final Fantasy X-2, after you beat it and such, Titus comes back, and I'm not gonna. I probably would have been okay without him coming back. They kind of left it on a cliffhanger at the end of Final Fantasy X.
It wasn't cliffhanger. Like, you knew he was leaving. Like, you knew he had to go.
But remember, after the credits, he was swimming. He was in the ocean, and then he was kind of like swimming back up as if he was gonna come back to life.
Oh, like he was gonna come back.
Yeah, that's okay. That I would have been okay if you just left it then and there and done. Yeah. But they chose to keep branching it off, and I hear that that's not the only ending where he kind of like comes back out of the water and then he sees Yuna and runs to her. I hear there's like 2 more endings to it.
For 10-2?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's multiple different endings. Depends on how you do it. I've seen them all.
Really? So what are the other ones?
Like so, there's some where she flies off and you don't get to see Titus. There's one where Titus. There's one where, like I said, you see him back in Besaid. She jumps off the ships and sees him.
Really?
And I'm trying to remember the third one. There's a third one. I think you might just hear like a whistle. Then
I do. I see. That's the one I remember. She goes to the end of the dock and then she whistles, and I guess he like whistles back at her or something like that.
I think so. We'll have to check it out later.
But point being is, like, you don't need these spins off because it just doesn't need to be there. And like so some people might enjoy them, but I think more than others would like it's just not needed. Question: did you hear anything if they're going to make another one? I mean, they're most likely going to make another one, but like I said, they're at 15 right now. Are they doing 16?
So I wouldn't say 16 because right now, since Final Fantasy VII Remake had such massive success,
that's true,
and they weren't really ready for it. They still got to finish that project off with versions 2 and 3, and hopefully they don't take 5 years apart from it. Because, oh my gosh, like, I'm not gonna lie. In 5 years, I might not have my save file if they wanted to do it to where, like, you have all your save files and stuff from the first one.
Yeah,
and then. Like, it's just not going to be. But no, like, they would have to first finish part 2 and 3, and then maybe come out with something different.
Right. All right, so to hop off of that one, I would say One Piece, unfortunately.
Well, One Piece is definitely in a con area. So One Piece,
that's what I'm saying,
One Piece and Naruto are definitely at fault for certain things in the con area.
Oh, yeah, we're going with the big 3 on this one.
No, because Bleach really didn't have a lot of fillers.
I feel
you maybe didn't some, but I
feel like you
don't
remember them.
I don't remember, and I don't really see him a lot, so I'm not gonna throw Bleach
I specifically remember one where he was supposed to be a superhero. He was supposed to be a superhero along with like everyone in the Soul Society, or not everyone, but just like specific members of the Soul Society. It was weird. I did not watch the whole thing because it was like right after the Aizen episode, I believe. So I was like, all right, what is this? And I got bored.
Yeah. And so this was after he defeated Aizen?
Either after or just before that Aizen arc.
It'd be really weird if it was just before and it was a filler. So it probably maybe after. I don't know. But like, so fillers is what a lot of people hate. And we already kind of addressed it really. But just to kind of, say that these two are definitely at fault for it. But like, you can't help but see it since they are long-running animes. Like I said, everybody hates it because of the fillers. But then again, I also want to say, and this is where I'll bring in Naruto as well. I mean, no, Naruto and One Piece is already there. This is where I'll bring in Bleach as well. Since these guys are so long, all 3 of these animes have so many episodes.
I'm sorry, I remember. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just remembering the RDC World one. Once again, shout out to y'all. They were doing like a mini debate between which anime is better, Dragon Ball Z or Naruto. And they kind of did it like a court situation, like if they were on trial or whatever and presenting their case. And what was it? The dude who was representing Naruto, he's like, and therefore, Your Honor, that's why I feel like Naruto is the better anime. The other dude who was representing Dragon Ball Z, he's like, is that with or without fillers? Hey. And he's like, hey, forget you, man.
And, yeah, like, so even at the core, like, these animes have like a lot of episodes, like 500 plus a piece. And so to a lot of people that's very daunting, like just like even my little sister right now, having going to back and trying to like get into One Piece and not, and even for like the past 2 months, and like barely even getting halfway, and she's already getting burned out.
Oh yeah,
like it's hard. And I feel like a lot of these are why like some even the newer generation kids these days probably is never gonna get into the big three because of how long they are.
mm-hmm.
And, you know,
and it's sad because the big three is the big three for a reason. They're heavy hitter animes. They're the big three. They're what you want to see. They're planned out. They have this giant fan base. They have so many episodes because they could, also because they could pay for them. So people are watching them because they love them.
Yeah, like I said, like I said, since we kind of grew up with them, we know the love for them, and it didn't seem like it was long for us. I mean, I feel like One Piece is definitely long because, bro, after almost 10 or 15 years, like he still hasn't found One Piece. He still hasn't found the treasure. Like I'm kind of getting to the point to where I'm all like, yo, when you gonna wrap this up? Like, I do believe all stories need to come to an end.
Oh yeah.
Even though I do enjoy, once again, long series with 50 or more plus episodes. But then again, I'm all like, yo, like this does need to end so I can eventually move on to something else.
I love One Piece. One Piece is my favorite anime, but even I'm like, maybe it's time to wrap it up, guys. Maybe it's time. Like, when is he gonna find the One Piece?
Yeah, and we'll also say this, just kind of hit smaller bullet points. They also suffer from prolonged battles and flashbacks.
Oh my god!
So
Flashbacks in an anime
DBZ,
are one of the worst things ever.
Yeah, so DBZ first. Prolonged battles. Like, these are the guys who took 2, 3, 10, 15 episodes just for one battle. Especially like when Goku. How long did it take Goku to turn Super Saiyan? Like 3, 4 episodes. And it was just like episodes of him just yelling.
Right.
And then you have some episodes like with Naruto of like flashbacks of
just flashbacks to remember a technique.
To remember a technique or to go over certain people's backstories.
That's crazy because you meet a new character that you're fighting, like you've heard about this character, you've seen him maybe around here or there, and then Naruto sees him, and then he's like, "Let me tell you my backstory," and it's like, I didn't ask for that.
Yeah, like right in the middle of a fight, and you're just like, "Well, hold on. I don't care.
I don't know. I don't care you. I'm finna box you up, and you finna be on the ground, dude."
Yeah, like I don't really need the emotional connection to every single villain, or like I don't need to understand every villain's motivation. Like I get it, bro. Like we're opposite forces. I don't necessarily always need to understand, but like
all I need to do is to win.
Yeah, all I do is win.
So these are kind of like just the major cons of these long anime. And I feel like everybody really knows that a long anime, they know the cons of it. They know that it gets drugged out, kind of like winded and all that such. I just kind of, and go ahead.
Yeah, and I was like, no, go ahead, go finish.
Okay, sorry. I just kind of wanted to just dive into a type of middle category for a second. I won't spend too much time on this one though. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that. But like, and then just kind of to wrap it up a little bit, to also shoot other little animes, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Gundam.
That's right. Sorry.
Digimon.
Yeah.
These guys suffer from the whole multiple spin-off syndrome, where like they had like through one good first season, and then like for Pokemon, Ash went on to like 6, 7 different regions. And like
still not becoming the Pokemon master or Pokemon champion or whatever you're shooting for.
And after like 10, 15 years, once again, like this guy still hasn't grown up. Ash still hasn't grown up. He's still like, I don't really see too much story progression. I just see him going to different gyms and and like looking at new and different Pokemon. Some people love this journey, but personally, I'm just like, I've been over it. Yu-Gi-Oh, I love the first season with Yugi and everybody, but all the other spin-offs didn't personally make any sense. Gundams, everybody even to this day are so into.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, everybody even to this day are so into mech robots that there's been so many different types of versions. Like it's really, really like okay, like it's been and done.
Actually,
Digimon.
Hold on, wait. I actually wanted to like just put into perspective because some people might hear you say Gundam or even Pokemon for that matter, but did you guys actually know how many different Gundams there are? There's about 7
different types of spin-offs.
Different type of spin-offs, not alone the seasons within those spin-offs.
Yeah, so it tells you like the scope of like this is probably a little bit unnecessary. And even with Digimon, like I said, so many different types of spin-offs, and most of the time, like none of these even connect to the main story.
And I hate to say it, I like a good portion of the spinoffs that they did, but even me, I'm saying like you don't need all this stuff. You don't. Ty, the only good spinoff I thought was cool was Ty's little sister, and
this is from Digimon.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Ty's little sister, and then Matt's little brother, TK. I can't remember. Kari was her name.
Yeah.
They both ended up growing up, and they ended up going back into the Digi world and having their own adventure with their own friends, which was interesting. It was cool. It was, decent for whatever Digimon was. But then they ended up branching off to yet another series with all new characters, and then another series with a whole new format of fighting with Digimon. Like those ones turned into the Digimon.
Yeah, and so I just believe you just gotta learn when to. You just have to learn when to add certain seasons, even concerning spin-offs or sequels.
Not everything needs a whole another adventure of characters. Just because the first one did good doesn't mean you need to keep going with that.
Exactly.
And that's mainly what we got for, what the pros for long animes and the cons for them, and the pros and cons for short and long animes. But for me personally, there's also like a middle tier. There's just like a little middle section, and by that I mean
neutral territory.
Yeah, you have long animes that go above 50 episodes, but there are also what you wanted. They're that good intermediate type of section, and for that, to me, that's something like Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail has well and above over 50 episodes, but they wrapped up their stories. They answered all the questions that you wanted to answer. They answered who Zeref was. They took care of Agnologia and everything. Like they you wrap it up.
Yeah, but it also kind of wasn't a lot of people's favorites. They also had their kind of share of fillers. They also had their their share of episodes of them just kind of running around and fooling around, which didn't even that weren't even fillers. Flashbacks, dragged on battles. Like I'm not gonna lie, when I really look back on Fairy Tail, they did have a lot of problems with the series. I'm not gonna lie. Like unless you really read the manga, and for some reason like the manga just seemed like it kind of cut out a lot of the stuff.
All the fluff and foam.
Yeah, all the fluff and foam. It's pretty good. Like it was hard watching the TV series, especially at the beginning.
And I remember this specifically because I rewatched it. You know what didn't have practically a single filler?
What?
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho was technically considered a short series. That would be short, under 50 episodes.
No, it had more than 50.
Did it?
It had more than 50. And and that's why I put it in this category, just because once again, it goes through its story. It tells you what it is. It tells you what's happening, and they wrap everything up within the episodes that it's given. And it ends where it needs to be. And here's the sad thing, because I got to the ending of it. The ending is he comes back from this demon world after he's fought in this tournament, kind of like what is going to be the fate of the Earth realm or whatever it is. And he comes back and he meets up with his friends and he says, I'm done fighting. I'm done. I want to live my life now. And at that point, I saw the ending. I see the credits rolling up, the final song playing, and I'm all like, "It's over! No, I want more!" And then I have to catch myself. I'm like, "No," because then you have another dragged out Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, like I said, you just always have to know when, even though you might kind of want that a little bit more, like even though like in your heart, you might not feel like you want the story to end. If you're feeling like that, that's when you know the series has ended on a good note.
Right. And I just kind of had like another couple examples, which would be Shield Hero. That's still going on, and that can still wrap up within its time frame. It could get some more episodes out, but wrap it up sometime soon, hopefully.
Hopefully, but gosh, I'm still waiting for the next episode or the next manga to come out. Like it's almost been a minute.
Another one would be Magi. Magi still has a lot to be answered and a lot to finish up, but you can finish it up sometime soon, and that'd be perfect.
Yeah. The Promised Neverland.
Promised Neverland. I haven't seen it, but I remember you telling me about it.
If they lock that into to another season, I think they can definitely roll through that, maybe under 50 episodes. Most definitely.
Another one for me would be Ruby.
Is that short or long?
That's a lot. They're on their 7th season.
Okay, yeah. But I don't watch them, so I couldn't really comment too much about it.
If you know about Ruby, Ruby is awesome, and they're starting to come up to their end. You know, they just gotta wrap it up. Just wrap it up.
Okay. Anything else, little brother?
No, that's pretty much it for me.
And all right, guys. So from there, we don't really have any recommendations. Any recommendations this week? We were kind of more on kind of catching up on some of our other responsibilities, or like just kind of backlogging certain different types of animes. But if you guys have any recommendations for us or anything that we should be watching,
give us a shout out. Give them a shout out, yo. We want some new animes in our life too. We can only do so much when we got our list that we want to put together. But hey, maybe there's something on our list that we don't have there. We go ahead and tell us something that we don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, you can't necessarily know about everything, so it's good to have different people telling you, hey, watch out for this, or hey man, check this out. And so like I said, we appreciate anything from you guys.
This is how animes blow up, when word of mouth, people just telling other people, yo, I saw this and it's awesome, and then that spreads to one person, spreads to another person, and then next thing you know, you got One Piece.
All right, guys. Well, that would be the end for the episode today.
Yo, we got through another full episode, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for coming back. Thank you for checking us out.
We hope you enjoyed that bonus episode last week. Once again, that was just something that we wanted to put together.
Yeah, something for you guys to kind of enjoy. Now, let us know if you guys liked it or not.
Yeah, it was, once again, it was fun. Let us know if there's something that you guys don't agree with as well.
Yeah, especially about our long and short anime. If we missed any points or just totally was blindsided by anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so remember, check us out at our website, the M.A.V show. No. The M.A.V it's
Mavericks.com.
Gosh. Please hit me upside the head.
That's his thing. He's supposed to remember that one.
At www.mavericks.com. Hit us up. That's where you also see, info about what we do, pictures of us, shows, and also where to hit us up at. Also, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please hit us up at mavericks@gmail.com. That is MAVREAKS@gmail.com.
Or you can hit us up at BBEMAV2020@gmail.com. That's BBEMAV2020@gmail.com.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming back for another episode.
Another episode, baby. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all very much. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.